In this video, you'll see how to create a room schedule. You'll see how to organize the schedule with sorting, grouping and filters. You'll see how to delete unplaced rooms from the schedule and how to split the schedule across multiple sheets. I have the exercise file Create Rooms open, and we're looking at the Floor 3 plan view, and we can see that we have quite a number of rooms placed on this level. This has also been repeated on the other levels within the project. Now we need to create a room schedule to document all of these rooms. So to do this, we'll go to the View ribbon tab, and from the Create panel here, we'll click the Schedules drop down and then click Schedules and Quantities. Now we need to find the room category here, so I'll start to type rooms in the search bar here, and then we can select rooms from the list of categories and click OK to go to the schedule properties. And we can see here that we have a list of available fields, and we need to add the required fields using the Add Parameters button here to the list of scheduled fields. So we'll start by selecting the level parameter and then click the Add Parameter button. And then we'll add the name parameter and the number parameter. And finally we'll get the area parameter and add this to the scheduled fields. So now we have all of those parameters added to the scheduled fields. We'll go to the Sorting and Grouping tab, and we'll first sort by level, and we'll also group by level as well. So we'll select the header and footer options here, and we'll also enable the blank line, and we'll set the footer to display count and totals. And for then by, we'll select the name parameter. Now a little bit further down, we'll enable the grand totals to be displayed. And now for the area to calculate a grand total, we'll need to go to the Formatting tab. And then we can select the area parameter here. We can see it's currently got no calculation, so we'll click on and choose Calculate Totals. And finally we'll swap to the Appearance tab, and for the body text here, we'll choose the 330 seconds Arial text type. So we'll click OK to create that schedule. Now we can see we have those parameters as the headings across the columns here. As we scroll down, we can see the grouping, so it's grouped by level, so floor 2 here and floor 3. And at the bottom of each group, we can see we have the number of rooms for that group and the total area of that group. And scrolling down to the bottom of the schedule, we have the grand total number of rooms and the total area. Now, scrolling back up to the top of the schedule here, we can see we have a group of not placed rooms. And these are rooms that have been placed in the model at some stage, but have been subsequently deleted, and they remain in the schedule, even though they're not physically placed in the model. However, we don't really want to see them in this schedule, so we'll go to the Modify Schedules and Quantities ribbon tab, and we have a panel for Not Placed Unenclosed Rooms, and it's currently set to Show. So if we click Hide, and then those not placed rooms will no longer be visible. We'll go back and swap it to Isolate, which means that we can now only see the not placed rooms. And actually it's good practice to delete these from the schedule if they're not likely to be used. So to do this, I'll select the first room, and then holding down the Shift key on the keyboard, I'll select the last one so that we have all of them selected. And now we'll go to the Modify Schedules and Quantities ribbon here, and from the Rows panel, we'll click the Delete button. We can see we have a message here just letting us know that by deleting these, we may be deleting some rooms that have been placed in the model. But we'll click OK to continue. And now we can see we have none of the rooms visible, so let's go back to the Modify Schedules and Quantities ribbon here, and we'll click the Show button. So now we can see all of the rooms that we have placed in the model. And looking closer at the list of rooms that we have here, we can see we have quite a lot of services rooms and also storage rooms. So I'll swap back to the Floor 3 layout plan view, and zooming in a little closer, we can see that we have rooms placed along the corridor here, and these are actually the areas where the services can run between the floors. And we don't really want these to be shown in our room schedule. So I'll swap back to the room schedule view now. And we'll use a filter to remove the services rooms, and we'll also remove the storage rooms. So from the Properties palette, we'll click the Edit button next to Filter, And now for the parameter to filter by, we'll choose name. And now as this will filter rooms to include in the schedule, we'll set the filter to be does not equal. And then we can choose from the list of names here services. And this means now that rooms whose name does not equal services will be included in the schedule. So we'll repeat this on the second row here. So we'll choose name and then does not equal. And then we'll choose storage. So now we will only have rooms whose names do not equal services or storage. So we'll click OK. And looking in the schedule, we can see that all of those services and storage rooms are now no longer present. So now that we have the schedule organised, we need to place it onto a sheet. And as it's quite a long schedule, it won't actually fit onto one sheet. And looking at the project browser here, we can see that we actually have 3 sheets created, so room schedule 01, 02 and 03. And we will split the schedule across these sheets. So we'll go up to the Modify Schedules and Quantities ribbon here, and from the Split panel, we'll click Split and Place. So now we need to select those 3 sheets to split the schedule across. And looking at the Height on Sheet panel here, we can see it's set to split evenly. So I'll click Split and Place. And now we can see it's opened up the Room Schedule 01 sheet here, and we need to place the schedule onto the sheet, and this will set the location for the other sheets as well. So we'll place it in the center of this sheet. And now going back to the project browser here, if I expand out the schedules group and then expand out the room schedule, we can see that we now have those split schedules, so 1 of 3, 2 of 3 and 3 of 3, and that their sheet placement icons are showing that they've all been placed on sheets. And looking at the sheets below, if we expand those out, we can see that each one of those schedules is placed onto a corresponding sheet. So let's open up the other 2 sheet views. And we can see that that schedule has been placed in the similar location on both. And we'll tile the views so that we can see all 3 schedules at once. But first, I'll close down the room schedule view and then the floor 3 layout view. And now I'll go to the Windows panel on the View ribbon tab here and click Tile Views. On the navigation bar here, I'll click Zoom All to Fit so we can see all 3 views. Now I'll zoom into the 01 room schedule here. And if I select it, we can see that we have the controls for the column width here, so I'll drag the name column wider so that it doesn't split across 2 lines. And then when we finish, we can see that that also updates on the other 2 sheets as well. Now we'd like to split the schedule so that each level is on its own sheet. And we can see here that on the first sheet that we have some of floor 3 at the bottom here. So with that schedule selected, we'll use the drag control at the bottom here, and we'll drag this up so that floor 3 is no longer visible. And we can see that this will then get added onto the Schedule 2 view just here. And zooming into this view, we can see that we don't quite have all of floor 3 on here. So we'll select the schedule in this view, and then using the drag controls, we can drag that down so that it includes all of floor 3. So now that's a little bit low on the sheet, we need to reposition it. So we'll select it again, and then we can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to nudge it up slightly, and that now fits perfectly on the sheet. And looking at the Room Schedule 03 view here, we can see that that now has just floor 4 on here, and it also displays the grand totals at the bottom of that sheet. So I'll click Zoom All to Fit once more, and now that we have that schedule split and placed across the 3 sheets here, that finishes creating the room schedule.